best practices. And the best way to get your information out is to go through a news release. And a news release is really good because although most people think it's mostly for newspapers, it is, or it was, because there's really not that many newspapers anymore. It's also for your television stations and your blogs and your community newspapers and your moms clubs that are looking to be able to promote what you can do this weekend with your kids. And it's for your parenting magazines. It's for everything else too. And once you do it once, you'll get the hang of it. And the hardest part is actually writing the release. So I've written here some little tips on how to write a release on what you definitely want to include. And I'm not going to read each one for time, but you can see here, you want to make it newsworthy. You want to make the editors and the news directors want to participate in that. You have to keep in mind that they probably get between 5 and 25 news releases a day. So they have to quickly go through and glance at them. So do something to catch their eye. If you have your signs already, take a picture of them and just put them out there. If you don't have your signs of kindness sign, use one of your favorite displays that you have and just say signs of kindness is coming, like you're still working on it, or maybe you want to unveil it on November 13th. Tease them a little bit, play with it just to catch their eye. And you always want to keep the 5 W's in there: the who, what, when, why, and how. How, that one always gets me. But you want to do that. You want to keep those things in there. You want to avoid a sales pitch. The media is not going to buy your yard cards. So don't try to sell them. I don't even put the pricing in my news releases. What you want them to do is to come stand in front of your yard sign or pick it up and run it as that. So that's the big thing. Don't do it as a sales pitch. If you can, keep it to one page, keep it concise and simple, because again, they get a lot. And most importantly, make sure your information is there. Because if they want to come see your sign, they're going to want to speak with you out front, or they're going to want to ask you a couple of questions. So you want to make sure your information is there so they can reach out and talk to you. And nowadays, they're reaching out in every which way. So don't be surprised if you get a text that is asking their 3 questions that they have that they want to put on the news story, because you want that to, they want to be quick. They're busy. They have a lot going on. And just answer it via text and just be as friendly as you can and pass out the information that you want with them. And I also encourage you that once you get this down pat and you write your first news release, you need to try to keep up with sending them information now and then. If they think you're a one-day wonder, they're going to be like, oh, no big deal. But if they see every 10 to 20 days you're sending out a release and you're coming up with new ideas for your business and new functions and things, that's going to make them look at your news release when it comes out, and they'll be like, hey, I saw this before. Let me take a second look. And I also encourage you to keep it on the same stationery that you always use. Again, they see so many of them. Don't change it up with each and every one. Try to keep it consistent. Now, you can change your pictures and you can change your text, but keep the overall look of your news release or your stationery the same so they start to recognize you. So now what I've done is I actually took the time to write the news release for Signs of Kindness. So if you've never written one before, you're welcome to use this. You can use it as is, or you can change it up if you don't like the wording that I used, or if yours is going to be a little bit different, feel free. It's going to be in your package for you to use. So in starting here, you'll see the pink is information that really you need to change. You need to make sure it's your name, not mine. I took mine out. You need to put the date of whatever date you're sending this out. That's very important, because if you are going to send it out on October 10th, just use a round number, and you don't want the media to start promoting it until October 20th, you need to make sure you put it as a release date too, so they know that they may have it now. They can call you with questions. They can prep and prepare for it, but you really don't want the world to see it until your release date. This is the headline that we were using on the national news release that we've already sent out. So it might not be appropriate for your hometown news release. So I put that in pink. You can change it to be your city, your name of your company, whatever you want. I just made it pink only for your reference to think about. And then you start every news release with your city and state. The media wants to know where they are. If you're writing, you're from Miami, Florida, the news media, the television station in North Carolina could care less. They don't want to come down here. They're not going to do it. So make sure you have that there. Then, as you can see, I just started in with the key information. All my information's there, the date, why we're doing this, who's doing it, what the goal is, and what's happening. And you can just see, then I added some fluff here. In this pink line at the bottom, the news media wants your boilerplate. This is very important. This gives you credibility. And the credibility is what you want. So you want to write a little bit about your company, and it can be used over and over. So don't feel like you have to change it up every time. Once you write it once, I mean, we keep ours the same 3-4 months unless we do something new and we add a function or we add, sometimes we'll list our clients. If we're going after a big client, we'll put all our bigger name clients in there. But you really don't have to change this often. So you need to think about that and think about how you can write your boilerplate. And for some reason, I had this mixed up, but I'm going to go down here and I put how to write a boilerplate. So if you look here, I've given you little instructions on how to write a boilerplate. It's not very hard. Again, as I mentioned, you want to use the best practices. You want to show your company's longevity. You want to put when you created it. Now, if you had just created 3 or 4 months ago, call it your inaugural fall season. Don't be afraid that because it's a new business or it's new or young that you can't word it to where it sounds really impressive. It's your inaugural Christmas season, or for this is our inaugural Signs of Kindness event. So put that in there. List a little bit about your company culture, and I'll show you that in a few seconds. And then list your achievements. And this is what's going to change. If you've hit a milestone, if you were named Business Person of the Year by the Chamber of Commerce, if you were elected to the board of directors of XYZ company, go ahead and put that in there. That adds credibility. So then down here, what I did just to show you, I actually am sharing with you the boilerplate that we're currently using right now for Branding Alliance. And this is our company that we own. I own it with a friend of mine named Tina. We've been doing this for a while. Tina and I actually have worked together a long time, but we started our business on our own in 2017. So you can read that, just a little bit of our history. We're very social. We're very friendly. So we did not make this a hardcore business boilerplate. We don't present ourselves that way. And so we didn't want to do this. We didn't want to write it that way. And as you can see, just since all of COVID started in March, when we started our entrepreneurial marketing, Elevate Your Skills, that's where we changed that last sentence. So that last sentence that's there has only really been there since about April. And so you can see how we've changed it up. But now I'm going to go back up. Sorry, I'm skipping around. I don't know how I messed this up. So also now you've done your news release, so the media knows you're doing something. After that, on the day of the event, you want to do what we call our photo opportunity. That's really what the media wants. The media wants to get out and hopefully have something happy to promote. And this is really good. We've been successful with the weatherman or the weather ladies. And, with this whole thing with being socially distanced, a lot of them here in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale market, they still are not working in the studios. They're working out of their homes. So what we've done with some of the things that we've put out, we've invited them to do their actual weather report from our address. And we will go and look. We've We're right now doing a partnership with the city that we live in where we're putting up vote displays, and we have a whole vote yard card thing, and we're moving it every single day. Well, on the days that we know there's room to park a truck, and then if there's electric available and those things, we're sending that out separately as a photo opportunity to the media so that they know they can come out and there'll be room to park their truck. It's not in somebody's front yard. It has a nice background, especially when we were in front of the city library. And then the one day we were in front of City Hall, they will come out and they'll focus on those things. So with this, you want to, again, update. Now, this one I wrote because I'm assuming most people will send it out for November 13th. But again, the pink is what you need to fill in on your own and your information. And then I just wrote, a short thing. This is a photo opportunity. This is not a full news release. They should remember from what you wrote weeks ago. You don't need to write a full thing. So again, you can see exactly what I've written. And again, you're welcome to use this as is if you want. I do like to put a why paragraph, which is usually the first paragraph of my news release, because if I made it important enough to be the top paragraph of my news release, it's important enough to repeat, because obviously that's the key message I want to give out. So then after that, I just list again for more information, where to contact me. And then again, sometimes we add our boilerplate, and sometimes and sometimes we don't. On this one, I'm not going to add it for mine. But if you have a short one and you're really new and you're promoting your yard card business, you might want to put it in there so that they can, not have to ask you, what is a yard card company? What exactly do you do? What is your market that you serve? We've been promoting the daylights out of it. So hopefully the ones that show up will know, or knock on wood, it's somebody that we've worked with before and they know us. So that's that one. Then we want you to start thinking about how you can find your media contacts. It's not easy to reach these media people. So the first thing that I encourage you to do is just to Google submitting news releases and put in your zip code. And sometimes you'll see where the newspaper or the TV stations have actually written articles, and they'll list, I found in mine, just when I did this last night, the Sun Sentinel, which is a large newspaper here, they actually have, here's how to submit your news release, and they listed all the editors. So if you're going to a business story, you can write to the business editor. If you're going to lifestyle, you can write to that. If you're going to sports. So it was really there. So I just went in and I made sure my list was updated. And on this one, the person has changed since the last time I did a lifestyles fun release. The other thing is you can also search in your news section, yard card celebration signs. And what happens is if you click on news, you will see any news story that has come up within like 25, 30 miles of where you are. And what you want to do is you want to watch those news stories or read them and pull the name of the reporter out. Because now you have a reporter who has already done a story on yard cards. So they know what they are. They know how colorful they are. And you can use that name to get to them directly. So you can just skip. I would still include the news editor, but I would also add this reporter to my news release list, because then hey, they may look at it and walk to the news editor and say, I've done this before, let's look at this again. So just do that. And a lot of the articles, especially the online articles and even the television, they actually have their Instagram account and sometimes their Facebook account right there, right on the television. So you don't have to go far. The other thing is I encourage you to get in with your event calendar postings. Now, this is an event that we're doing. And although we're not inviting, we're not having a party and we're not selling candy canes and different things, you want this publicity. So if you have Eventbrite in your neighborhood, crazy events, there's event incentives, there's South Florida events down here, there's all these different websites that just promote events. Go on there and list your event. The good thing about this is this will boost your SEO. because now when people Google your name, it's not only going to come up that you have a Facebook page, it's going to come up right now that you have a listing on Eventbrite or you have a listing in the newspaper calendar section. So this will actually help you with your algorithm and everything for SEOs in your Google search. And it is a little bit of work, but you can probably knock out 5 to 10 of these in about 15 minutes, because once you get your artwork ready, they're all where you sign in, you set up an account, and then you type in your own information. And usually within 24 hours, you're live on their site. So definitely check into that. And I just listed a couple of here. There's Eventbrite, there's Event Crazy. I know in South Florida, there's some other ones. The other thing is, go to your Facebook page, set up an event page. On your own page, you can set up an event page. If you want, you can list either me or my yard card, grow your business, or any of the people that are helping coordinate this. You can set them up as hosts so that you even get more publicity, because as people go on Facebook, when they put in, oh, I'm looking for signs of kindness, the most popular ones are going to come up first. So if you get in there and you tag on to us, yours will bump up to the top too, which is really a good thing to do. Also, go in and look for your mom's groups, your local city groups. Look for those things on Facebook and join them. And then read their rules and see, is Wednesday their advertising day? Is Thursday their event day? And if it is, get your announcement on there, post it on there, or write to the admin and say, hey, can I post this? You just want to drum up awareness that you're doing this. And there's a lot out there. There's Mama Teeny, there's Mama Quarantine, there's your different mom groups. There's so many that are out there of people looking what to do. So now this next step is how I track my media. And I just do it in Excel. I don't have anything fancy. And I just list in there, and I know this might be a little bit small to see right now, but I just list the categories. I list the company. And by company, I usually list whether it's a newspaper, television. I don't list the company name there. Then next to it, I'll list the company name, whatever it might be. And then I put their name and their phone number and their email. I used to keep track of their address and everything, but now that we're not physically mailing news releases anymore, I don't even, you can see it's not there. Sometimes I put in the zip code just so I know where they're located, but if I don't know it, I don't go hunt it down. So, and then the cool thing about this is once you put it in Excel or a program, then you can save it as a .csv. And then you can import it into a mail program. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So just going, this is step 3 after you've gathered everything and you've joined your face group and you've gathered all your reporters and different things, then you need to revise and work on your news release. And really, you should only be revising news releases. Once you write the first one, then you should only be revising the headline and the first 2 paragraphs going forward. Don't spin your wheels by creating a new boilerplate every time. Don't keep doing that. Don't remake a stationery. Keep it easier. Just revise. That's why I didn't write. I wrote revise. Now, there's many different mail programs out there for you to mail everything at once. There's Constant Contacts, there's MailChimp, there's different ones. We use MailChimp because they allow you to have 2,000 addresses available at no cost. You get to have all the services that they have with up to 2,000 names. If you go higher than the 2,000 names, then there is a fee, but it took us a really long time to hit that 2,000 mark. And there's some little tricks where you can take them off for a little while and put them back on if you don't want. But for this event, if you've never done this, I encourage you to go to MailChimp. It's super simple. And then you can actually just send everything out to once. You can import all your media contacts. You can make a contact list that says news releases, and then you're ready to go from now until they either decline to accept your mail or until you hear of more people. We actually started with ours with about 20 people. Then as we meet new people and people start contacting you and they'll be like, hey, I'll post this for you, I immediately add them to our news release list. So then once you're set up, you want to design, and it's easy. Don't let that word design scare you. It's super easy. They have some templates. If you want to use the template that we're using for signs of kindness, just send me a message in Facebook and I'll send you a link and you can start with that. And then, you just put your information in there. It's super easy. And then you want to share it to everyone you know. You want to send it to your news release people. You want to send it to any businesses that you may know, your Facebook, your blogs. If you guys have Nextdoor, I don't know if that's nationwide or just in Florida, but it's a neighborhood website and it's called Nextdoor. It's amazing the number of contacts I get from that. And the best part is it only goes to your neighborhood. It only goes within 3 miles of my house. So I love it when I get calls from them and they tell me they saw me on Nextdoor, because I know I'm not driving to Miami. I'm driving 2 or 3 miles from here. So again, we already went over the boilerplate on how to write it. And my boilerplate's there. You can definitely use that, just delete the words and change it up some. And we're hoping that you can use these releases to get you publicity getting out there. And we highly suggest that this becomes a little bit of priority once you have ordered your signs. That should be probably first, because that's going to take some time. Or once you've decided what your display is going to be, because again, that's going to take a little bit of time, then focus on your news releases. And I would highly encourage you to try to get your news releases out by November 2nd, and then send out your photo opportunity like on the 11th or 12th. And you can send it to the exact same list you just sent the first one to, and then anybody that adds in. And you'll be excited, because if somebody calls you from a media, make sure you get their email and add them to your list, because now they know you and now you can make a relationship. And if they show up at your display, it's up to you. It's your customer service. It's the way you present yourself. And if you make it fun for them and you make it happy, then they're going to want to come back. We always do a little care kit that we have, especially when we're doing either yard signs or outdoor photo booth things, where we have a cooler and we buy little tiny bottles of water, and we just have that there. So when we say hello, we give them our information. We reprint out our news release. We give it to them there in case they left it or they don't have it. And we give them a bottle of water. We're in Florida. It's hot as heck down here. So we just try to make it friendly. We want them to come back for us. So I'm excited that everybody is going to write releases. I can't wait to see them. I'm hoping when we Google signs of kindness, that we have a ton of things pop up in the news section. So now, just as a reminder, I'll be back on tonight at 9 o'clock teaching the same class again. And then Friday at 2 p.m. and 9 p.m., we're just going to do a Q&A. Any questions or anything you may have, we'll be there. And I'm hoping some of the other group members or the admins that are helping us will be there too. So if it's a question I can't answer, they can pop in. So share it with everyone. Invite any yard carters you know to participate. And we look forward to seeing your signs on November 13th. All right, any questions?
Lenore, this was wonderful. This was such great information. I've been doing this for 22 years and I already learned a lot more.
Yeah, great.
So thank you very much. This is going to be great for everybody, not just for signs of kindness, but to help grow their businesses in general.
Wonderful.
All right. Thank you again so much.
Thank you. And I look forward to seeing everybody shortly. Bye-bye.
Bye.